This is a typical alchemical laboratory. Total chaos. Here's our alchemist trying to do something, God knows what. These are the alchemist kids. You see what they're doing. And this is whoever this is, mining 2 other children or whatever, and getting the fire going, smelting, all that horrible stuff. Everybody thinks that that's what alchemy was all about. Alchemy was this precursor to chemistry. But actually it had very little to do with chemistry. All this was activity to keep the alchemists in money. Because the king, realizing the alchemists had some special talents, said, well, if you can transform things, can you transform lead into gold? Can you do this? Can you do that? So this was the alchemist setting up his lab to do that. But there was something deeper going on. And if we go back in time to an ancient time, we can see where that deepness comes from. This deepness has to do with an ancient way of thinking that said, heaven above, heaven below, stars above, stars below, all that is above also is below. Grasp this and rejoice. All that is above also is below. Grasp this and rejoice. What are they talking about? This goes back to ancient Egypt and an understanding of the various cycles of life that we all phase through. As above, so below. But also, as within, so without. And that takes us from ancient Egypt into modern Greece and what's called the ancient Greek alchemy, according to Aristotle. This is a little bit of history. This is how Aristotle and the ancient Greeks looked at the world. Look at that picture for a moment. See this guy with the club? That's us, humanity. See these other people? These are gods. This right here is the god of earth. He's carrying the earth in his hands. This is the god of water. You see what he's doing? He's splashing water on him. This is the god of air. See, he's going to blow air at him. And this is the god of fire, and he's going to burn him. And he's really, notice how well he receives these gifts of the gods. Always been our problem. Battling nature, right? And this right here is the soul who's trying to comfort humanity so that humanity doesn't have to think about these ancient gifts. But these were the ancient alchemical elements that we're talking about. Earth, air, because these could be observed, fire, and, of course, water. And of all these, water seems to have played a very special role. It was more significant maybe than all the other, because it was clearly something we needed for life. Okay, our out there experiences, what we experience in the world, are that so-called stuff, that objective world out there, that thing we say is real and tangible, consists really of changes, transformations that go on within these elements. And even today in modern physics, it's still the same story. We've just made it more refined, but it's basically the same story. It's really not changed from those ancient pictures. We're dealing with the basic elements and transformations. So I thought in order to understand these transformations a little better, we would make a baseball diamond. And this is the baseball diamond. And at first base, we're going to put Earth. And at third base, we're going to put air. Now, why are they placed in those positions? Because Earth and air are polar opposites to each other. They are like on the opposite sides. They're complementary to each other. They're polar opposites. And at second base, we're going to put fire. And at home plate, we have water. So these are the basic elements. And here's how they work. Fire and earth, which are objective, out there stuff, give us an experience of dryness, which is in here stuff. And air and water, which is out there stuff, gives us an experience of moist, which is an in here experience. And air and fire give us an experience of hot, and water and earth give us an experience of cold. So our out there experiences, what we say, that's hot, or that's cold, or that's this, or that's that, they're really our inner worlds that we're dealing with in expressing how we feel about these outer elements. If something feels hot and dry, we say it's fire. If something feels hot and moist, we say it's air, and so forth. Well, that's very well. But we're really interested in something different. A kind of a quantum new alchemical kind of view, which I think will illustrate what it is you can do to transform your realities. So this is dealing with the burning fire within, the burning lotus fire, the burning lotus fire of force or life force. In the new alchemy, we have, in place of earth, we have something called the body and sensing. The body is a sensing apparatus. You have bodies so they can sense. In place of air, we have the eye and intuition, the looking into the future. Intuition, telling you what's around the corner, so to speak. In place of fire, we have the mind and thinking. So here we see sensing, intuiting, thinking. This is a function. Thinking isn't just only thoughts that's involved, but nevertheless, it's function that is a function of the mind that we're most directly evident to ourselves. And in place of water, we have something called feeling. Now, feeling is very primal. Feeling is the first of all of the internal alchemical transformation possibilities that arise. It's the first element of transformation. Feeling. It's very primal. We all operate from feeling. Feeling is our basic way of operating. If we don't feel anything as a result of our experience, we usually forget it or don't pay any attention to it. So feeling is very fundamental. And our in-here experiences consist of transformations of feeling. I once took a course in screenwriting, and I once asked the fellow teaching the course, what makes a good movie a good movie? And he said to me, what makes a good movie is people feel something. People feel when they watch the movie. I said, feel what? He says, anything. Anything at all. In other words, you say a movie's good when you have a feeling about it. You may not like the feeling you got about it, but if it hits you, then it did its job. And what we're looking at now is transformations that take place within you. So again, using our baseball diamond, our third base we have intuiting, and its polar opposite is sensing. These are opposites. Those of you that know the Myers-Briggs psychological testing models based on Jungian psychology, you already know most of this in a certain sense. So you already have it. And Jung was the first, I think, to bring this out. But intuiting and sensing are polar opposites. They're complementary to each other. And so is thinking and feeling, polar opposites. So what we're talking about here is understanding these different functions and transformations which can take place and how to alter those transformations. When feeling and sensing are operating within you, when you're feeling and sensing the world, you're experiencing what is called energy. So when you say something has energy, it's because you are feeling and sensing. When you are thinking and sensing, what you're experiencing is something that you all know. It's called space. Your experience of space implies the thinking function and the sensing function are operating. And when you're intuiting and thinking at the same time, when they're operating, you're experiencing time. And none of these things that you're experiencing are truly out there. They're really results of overlaps of these various in-here worlds that create these experiences. Therefore, as a result, nothing in the out-there world is absolutely fixed. Time is not fixed. Space is not fixed. Energy is not fixed. And finally, by the way, if you're intuiting and feeling, what you're experiencing is motion. Motion. When we say emotion, it's in a kind of a recognition of that we're experiencing motion. Emotions are part of motion. So this is where intuiting and feeling are operating. And so this is the whole thing.